Hi, this is Antoine Harris with Platinum Bridge Wealth Strategies, and the popularity of ETFs has exploded over the last several years. There's over 5,000 ETFs, so it's very likely that you have exposure to these ETFs either through your retirement plan, through your company, or through individual accounts that you have. So I wanted to tell you about a few things that you need to be aware of. The first thing, you need to understand how your ETF is weighted. Most ETFs are weighted based upon market capitalization. That simply means the larger, more expensive companies within an index receive a disproportionate weighting relative to the other companies. So say you're tracking an index like the S&P 500 with an ETF. The larger companies on that index, like an Apple, for example, receive a disproportionate weighting to some of the smaller companies. As the market continues to run up and these companies grow and become more expensive, they continue to receive a disproportionate weighting. You can get to a point where at the top of a market, most of your money in an ETF is weighted toward the companies that have run up the most during the last bull market. Well, the issue becomes when the market corrects, those companies that are run up the most tend to fall more dramatically. They tend to fall faster than some of the other companies. So you can be exposed to increased downside by using a market cap weighted ETF during a market correction. So you need to be aware of the weighting. Alternatively, there's something called a fundamentally weighted ETF that may use different metrics for the weighting. They may weight based upon dividend payments or price to earnings ratios or price to book ratios. It's just a different weight, or a different way to weight within the ETF. It's important to know that because they may be less volatile during a market downturn. So you may want to have a combination of ETFs that weight differently for diversification purposes. Another thing to keep in mind is based upon the asset class that you're looking to get exposure to through an ETF, the experience that you anticipate could be dramatically different than what actually happens with the ETF. So if you're using an ETF to get exposure to very large, very liquid areas of the market, an ETF may be an excellent vehicle. If you're trying to get exposure to less liquid, more thinly traded areas of the market, say for example, commodities or junk bonds or maybe some sorts of international investments, then the actual value of the underlying asset that the ETF is supposed to track could deviate dramatically from the value of the ETF. If you're tracking oil, oil may be up 10%, you pull out your statement and your ETF's only up 4%. Well, you say, what accounts for that difference? There's something called tracking difference or tracking error. There are a lot of reasons why this discrepancy may occur. Just for your information, you just need to be aware that this is a phenomenon that you need to explore and understand that this could be an additional risk that you're exposed to for certain types of ETFs. If you have any questions at all, I'm Antoine Harris with Platinum Bridge Wealth Strategies, and I'll talk to you soon.